Hello, in this presentation we will be taking a look at the header and footer section of the balance sheet within QuickBooks Pro 2018. If you've been following along, we will be continuing with the Get Great Guitars problem. If you have the backup file, you can restore that by going to File and restoring the backup. We currently have the Open Windows list open. You can open that by going to File and Open Window List, and we have the home page open, found at Company and Home Page. We're going to be taking a look at the balance sheet here, looking specifically at the header options, and in order to do so, we will open the balance sheet by going to Reports, drop down to the Company and Financial, scrolling down to the Balance Sheet Standard. We're going to go to the dates and change the date to 12/31/21. December 31st, 2021. We're then going to select the Customize Report option. And we're looking not at the Display tab, but this time at the Header and Footer tab. We've looked at the Display tab in a prior presentation. We're going to go over here to the Header and Footer. A lot of options in terms of how we want the header and footer to appear. Here's what it looks like at this point. There's the header there. And we have the company name. So that's going to be, of course, up top on the header option. We also see the icon here and the company name. We could change the name. It's typical that that would be the default that we would want. The company report, we might want to change the report title in terms of the balance sheet to something standard. So if we want to just make it balance sheet number 1, like so, then it would change that item. The subtitle here is going to be as of December 31st. Again, if we wanted to change that in some format, if we just wanted perhaps the date without the as of, we could delete that out. And then we could say the date prepared. We're going to have this information. The date prepared could be in separate formats for the preparation date, the time prepared, and the report basis. Those are these items here. And we could remove those if we don't want them on our report. Oftentimes we might just say, I'd rather not have those two. Print header on the page after first page. If it's 2 pages long, do we want to keep repeating this on the second page or not? Default is yes, but we can have the second page to not show that, the header on each page. The page numbers, we can have the numbers on each page in different formats. The extra footer, we might want to have another footer. We might want to put, the name of the person printing the report, perhaps. So we could put a name in there. And then we could put print the footer on first page. So we have the printing option for the footer on the page. Then we have some alignment options up here. So note the alignment up here. The default, we're in the center. If we select the alignment, we could check it out and see if we say align left. That's going to give us the alignment over here on the left side. So if we were to do that, if we kept the time stamps, then it would push them to the right side. We're going to delete those and just remove them. So if we see that, then if I say OK, then now we have the Get Great Guitars. We got the balance sheet. We called it number 1 here just to make that little change. Instead of as of, we changed the subtitle to December 31st, and we moved it, of course, over to the left side. So those are just some examples of what we can do. It's much more useful sometimes to change some of these names and whatnot when we start running other types of reports, or in a report such as the profit and loss, which we might just want to call the income statement. And then we're going to go to Customize up top again. And let's just take a look going back to the Header and Footer tab at some of the other options in terms of the left align. If we go to the right align, that of course would be on the other side. If we say OK, there's that option there. If we go to the printing layout, then if we were to print this report and we want to go to Report and then Preview, we're going to preview it. We get this preview option, and down below at the bottom of this preview option, we can see the footer. If I can get there. We can see the footer here as the page, and then Eric Smith is on the footer tab. So those are going to be some of the options that we have within just the layout. I'm going to close this, going to close this, going to go back to the customize, going to go back to the header and footer. Those are just going to be some of the options. Some of the most useful options is to change this report title, to change the subtitle, and remove these dates if you so choose to do so. Also very useful to have that footer if we do want to put some extra information into the footer of a report. Okay. Now, later we'll talk about memorizing a report such as this. If you do have a format that you really like and you want to save, then it might be useful to save and memorize those reports so you can go back to them and not have to recreate them every time. And we'll talk about that in a future presentation.